All right. Hello, 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 beautiful people. It's me, Mel, and I'm here just to pop in for a quick word about moving beyond social media and building a brand through personal interactions. Okay, so if you are here, do let me know. And if you want to be notified, you can turn on your notifications so you're notified for my lives, and you could subscribe or set up your alerts so you could be reminded when I'm going to go live. All right. So listen, wanted to just hop on here very very quickly, and so if you're watching, definitely let me know you're here. If you're watching replay, let me know in the comments. Again, I'm not going to be here too long. Just want to hop in and talk about the importance of building a brand outside of social media and the internet. Okay. I am Melanie L. Denny, personal brand consultant, self marketing expert, and founder of Resume Evolution and Empowered Presence. Okay, so I help brilliant women of color to build the visibility and capitalize on new opportunities beyond the 9 to 5 through the power of personal branding. I love working with executive, high powered women who are well educated, high achievers, brilliant, but don't really want to flaunt the brilliance. They really desire more impact, but they tend to shy away from being in the spotlight. They are natural leaders and they have dreams and aspirations of speaking at events, doing podcast interviews, wants to be quoted in the media, and they have a message to share with the world. Okay. These are executives, business owners, aspiring business owners, political figures, aspiring political figures, physicians, and any brilliant woman who, again, has a message to share with the world and are ready to build their personal brands. So, I'm here today to talk about going beyond social media and building a brand through personal interactions in real life. Okay, so here is the thing that led me to talk about this today, because when I'm talking to folks about personal branding and I'm kind of telling them what I do and I'm introducing myself or whatnot, it typically goes straight to, oh, personal branding, so you do content, okay, so you do logos, right, so you do branding, photography shoots, like, what is this about? And yes, a lot of that is very, very, very important when it comes to personal branding. However, there's not a lot of emphasis on the fact that personal branding actually starts in the real world, right? Who you are is based on who you physically are in the real world. And your personal brand on the web should just be a reflection of that. It should be a reflection of those experiences, right? And so, yes, we are moving into a world where everything is virtual. Trust me, I know. I know. I have been in the house before the pandemic. I was in the house and I was doing everything virtually, and I was barely going to any real world in person events. And then the pandemic, for sure, I was definitely in the house. And I totally understand how powerful the World Wide Web is and how many more connections you can have by expanding your reach and leveraging the internet to actually connect with people that you may otherwise never have, came into contact with. And so, this brought me to think about how I went to an event back in March. It was a women's event, and I was a little bit nervous because, again, I hadn't been out in such a long time. And it was my first time going out and introducing myself with this, you know, pivot that I did. So if you don't know, I came from the resume writing world. I was doing a lot of career coaching, interview coaching, salary negotiation stuff, and I pivoted into personal branding on a broader scale. And so this was my first time going to an event where I had to introduce myself, introduce my business, and things like that. And I was really nervous. But I went there and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so nice. I saw a lot of people, a lot of women. I met a lot of women. I made some connections, right? I met a new dentist, which I was in need of. I met someone who wrote a book about gratitude, which gratitude is something very near and dear to my heart. And I had a lot of meaningful conversations and made a lot of connections. I even reconnected with the host of the event. And it's funny because I hadn't seen her in years and she remembered me, right? She remembered me because we kind of stayed connected on social media. And so that relationship was not based on solely online, it was based in the real world, and we brought it to the web, right? So to me, it's important when you're building your brand to be able to do both. You want to have a healthy, presence on the web, but you also want to have real connections in the real world. Let me tell you how powerful real connections are. When I was thinking about this, I thought about how back in the day, before social media was like so prominent, I was out in these streets, the literal streets, not the internet streets. I was out in the streets and I was going to networking events, and me and one of my friends would go to all the networking events to try to push and promote my business. That has led to so many other opportunities. And when I think back, I'm thinking to one of the first networking events I went to. It was like a speed networking event, and I met this young lady. She hired me to write the resume for her son who was graduating college. And then years later, she hired me for herself. Years after that, she came back for updates, right? And so that relationship was a easy long-term client relationship because we met in real life, right? It's so much easier to make a strong connection in real life. The trust and the credibility is so much easier to gain in real life. On social media, there's so much noise, there's so much going on. Everybody's selling something, everybody's, posting stuff. It's so much to compete with. When you go into real life, it's you standing in front of that person, and now you have an opportunity to really spread your message, sell your thing, right? Build your brand, get people to know who you are, because at the end of the day, you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from. And so visibility has to be deeper than just posting every day on social media. Again, your posting things should be a reflection of what you've been doing in the real world. And so I really challenge folks to get out into the real world and go back to networking the old fashioned way. Now, here's the thing about it that I also wanted to bring up, because trust is so hard now, especially online. I mean, AI alone has really, really made it challenging for people to trust what they see on their screens, right? There's an app out here where you can literally put a picture of yourself in the app, feed it a script, and it's going to use the picture to make it look like you are talking and you're recording the video based on the script. So you really don't even have to see how I'm here and I'm live. This is really me. You don't have to do that anymore with AI. You could literally post a picture, put a script in there, and you can have a robot pretending to be you. And so again, I bring that up to show you that the trust is dwindling. Trust is dwindling on this online world. And I think now is a great opportunity for us to redevelop our in person interpersonal skills, right? You know, I'm not saying abandon social media or digital. I am saying use it in conjunction with your real world experiences. Okay. So if you're not quite sure, how the heck am I gonna, get into the real world? I'm kind of rusty. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know where to go. I got 5 different places you could strategically go to build your network and build your personal brand and build your visibility in the real world. Okay. Networking events. I know. Nobody likes networking events. But again, remember that story I just told you about my client? It was a networking event. And trust me, I am like very much introverted. You may not be able to tell because I forced myself to come out of my shell as a business owner. And so I mentally prepare for stuff like this. And when I'm done with the event, I crash. Where my introverts at? And so networking events are great. If you have a business, it's great, but you have to know how to work it. And you can't just go there and collect, business cards. It's really about, getting to know people on a deeper level, really listening to them, really making sure that you are being genuine, right? And then following up with the person by taking the conversation a step further. Send an article that reminded you of the conversation you had. And tell them about what you do. Invite them to coffee or lunch. Um, Definitely, networking events still work. Okay, because at the end of the day, people hire other people. So if you're looking for customers and you're looking for clients, you're looking for career opportunities, get out there and mingle. Conferences and trade shows. This is great, especially, as it relates to connecting with folks in your industry, because you can stay up to date with the trends, you can connect with other people, share ideas around a certain topic, and bonus points if you're able to speak at a conference or be a panelist at an industry event, right? Trust me, I've done this several times, and it's like an automatic, you must know what you're talking about if these folks put you on their stage, right? And so you definitely want to go to these events, you want to speak at these events, you may even want to volunteer. That's the third one. Volunteering is also awesome. I've done several different volunteer events over the years, and it's literally me talking to folks. Hey, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I do such and such. Oh, I do this. Oh, what? I need that. Or I know someone who needs that. And it's literally, you can get clients much easier than, fighting the war on social media to get noticed. Another thing you could do, professional associations, join them and go to their events, right? You could definitely collaborate, because we're not only looking for clients, we're looking for collaborators, we're looking for supporters, right? And so going to things that a professional association is hosting is going to really help you, again, to, connect. It's all about connection, right? You could even become a mentee to someone that's been doing what you want to be doing, or you could mentor others, right? And really help them to move forward, right? And so professional associations is a great place to go as well. And then just regular social activities, kind of like what I did. I went to the women's event, and it was great and it was fun, and I was able to chat it up and build, my credibility and build my brand and talk to them about my work, and just literally just mingling, right? Networking is not this horrible, horrible, terrible thing where you're asking for a handout. Hey, I need a job. Hey, I need clients, right? It's literally, think about it as you're at lunch in school and you're like, hey, what did you bring to eat today? Right? It's just that. And there's no need to overthink this, but you also want to make sure that you're being strategic about the places in which you're showing up. Okay. So wanted to just get that out and just mention that, in my Empowered Presence program, we do have a VCR self-marketing plan that we kick off. And basically, it's centered around creating value, V, staying consistent, and building relationships, both online and in person. And so, yes, there's a whole lot of social media stuff, right? If you want to start a blog, you want to do a YouTube, you want to start a podcast, content on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever. But there's also what events are you going to show up to in real life, right? Why? Because career opportunities, partnerships, consulting contracts, speaking gigs, they all come from real people. And there's no better way to connect with someone than to see them in the flesh and make that real interpersonal connection with them. Being able to shake their hand or hug them or see the nuances of their facial expressions or see their body language, right? And this is so important because I feel like it's becoming a lost art, right? Because the world is so digital now. It's like I don't need to go out into the real world for anything. I can shop online, I get my groceries delivered, right? Why do we need to go out? But that human to human touch and interaction still matters. All right? It still very much matters. So that's the message I have for you all today. If you are interested in building your personal brand and you want to make sure you have a strong foundation before putting yourself out there, I definitely recommend that you chat with me. Um, the link is www.chatwithmel.com. Let's talk about your brand. Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about your aspirations. Let's talk about your big why. Let's talk about your personal mission. Let's talk about the impact that you want to make and how you're going to show up both in person and online to really build that visibility. Okay. So if you're interested, www.chatwithmel.com. Let's have a conversation. It's absolutely free, no obligation. But don't forget, online and in person is the secret sauce. Your online interaction should be a reflection of your real world experiences. All right. All right. That's all I have for today. I'll talk to you soon.